KaiJune.
Hey, it's Ryan from the Moon is a Dead World. We're taking on KaiJune still. This is our second day, and we're going to tackle Godzilla vs. Mothra from the 2-disc Toho collection. Yesterday we did Godzilla vs. King Ghidorah, and today we're heading into Moth territory. In Godzilla vs. Mothra, there's actually 3 different giant monsters. There's Godzilla, who's awakened by a meteor striking down in the sea where he has fallen. There is Mothra, who is first sort of in his larval stage, and then he becomes a gigantic moth. And then there's also Mothra, who is sort of the evil twin of Mothra, the dark moth, or as it actually translates to, black moth, basically, who at first fights Mothra and Godzilla, and then teams up with Mothra as a friend to take on Godzilla so that he doesn't destroy any more of Japan. So first things first, we have Godzilla awakening along with Mothra, but we don't see them until about a half an hour into the movie. Before that, we kind of start the movie off with Takuya, if I'm saying that correctly, which is sort of like an Indiana Jones type guy who is basically known for his thieving of certain ancient hidden sites, and so his ex-wife kind of calls him out on all the thieving that he does, even though it's not really apparent to the viewer exactly what he's stealing throughout the movie, besides these 2 girls known as Cosmos, who are sort of a tag team with Mothra. Other than that, though, it's not really clear why Takuya is such a thief, but in Godzilla vs. Mothra, they don't do that much characterization anyway. So it doesn't really matter, because about 45 minutes in, Takuya and his ex-wife Misako, they don't really matter much. Most of it is about basically Godzilla and Mothra, and sometimes Mothra, all fighting each other. And for about a good probably 50 minutes of the hour and 40 runtime is just those monsters duking it out, either in their larval stage, which they kind of look like a caterpillar, or they at the end of the movie they turn into their moth stage, and then they start to battle each other in the air. So it's a big monster brawl fest, and other than the first part of the movie, not a lot of characterization and not a lot of plot, which isn't a bad thing, but it does kind of take away from what the movie begins with. It's about a meteor who's striking down into the sea, and that sort of brings about an ecological aspect to the movie that sometimes Godzilla is known for. In this case, it's really about the endangerment of the forests around Japan, which is because of a company that has been deforesting this area. So they're really the main reason why Mothra and Mothra are attacking. It's because back about 12 million years ago, the Earth decided to create Mothra and Mothra as a means of trying to stabilize the climate. And Mothra actually became a little too powerful. Mothra came around to stop him. And Mothra is pretty much the one good giant monster throughout the film. Godzilla is sort of, he just does whatever he wants to do, basically. Whereas Mothra is sort of has a reason to fight. And there's a lot of carnage that actually takes place, which I have documented, and we'll take a look at that kaiju carnage on this graph. This time on Kaiju Carnage, with Godzilla vs. Mothra, we have 32 buildings collapsed or destroyed. That's just what we see on screen, and that's just my estimate because it's pretty difficult to actually count all of them, but that's what I got for an estimate. We have 1 giant egg destroyed this time. That's Mothra's egg that he comes out of in his larval stage. We have 10 tanks that are destroyed mostly by Mothra. We have 1 ship, which is out at sea, and we have 1 jet that I I could find that we saw destroyed in this film. It's interesting to note that even though there are 3 monsters in this movie, there is a lot less damage done to Japan in this film than there was in King Ghidorah. That might be because of the fact that they sort of center around Godzilla at the end of the movie, trapping him in this sort of Ferris wheel type metal situation. So it kind of limits the damage done to the surrounding areas, and that's part of Mothra's attempts to sort of stop the attack anyway. But there's some great songs in the film, actually, because the Japanese do love their music, and they love to incorporate it into their films. This one is basically an ode to Mothra, who is his Cosmos girls, the small sort of pixie girls that go along with Mothra, sing an ode to him whenever they need him, calling him, "Oh Mothra, come to us, be our savior." So that adds a little bit of music to an otherwise mostly battle film. And also, we do get sort of that ecological theme in the film, but for the most part, again, that is all kind of lost once we get into the Mothra, Godzilla, Bachara battles. So not a lot for the thematic portion of Godzilla vs. Mothra. It's mostly just a battle royale, and it depends on whether you really prefer that in your films. In this one, I hate to say it, but the end of the film kind of becomes a little stale because we've seen a lot of it before. It really centers on either Bachara and Mothra shooting out their laser rays, with Godzilla trying to fire back with his mouth lasers, if you will. And the other part is there's a lot of glitter. Actually, Mothra, that's his special power apparently, is that he spreads the glitter around, making Godzilla's laser breath nullified. So that's his special power. I don't know if it totally works. It basically looks like some static on the screen, but other than that, it's basically a battle from 50 minutes on out, and it really kind of gets stale after 40 minutes of watching it. It could have been cut down just a little bit, getting rid of some of the repetitive scenes with Godzilla just taking more and more damage. But it does end satisfactorily, sort of in a funny way, where Mothra becomes a superhero, kind of taking on this meteor that's going to strike Earth and kill everybody. He flies out into space, sort of like a Superman, and takes that on. So we're left to believe that Mothra is working in our best interests, despite Godzilla's advances and Bachara's at first. But Bachara does become a friend, takes a lot of damage from Godzilla, including a bite to the neck, which leaves some green goo spewing all over Godzilla. And he sinks into the sea with Godzilla, and is then sort of branded at that point by Mothra, who calls upon whatever powers, Earth, heaven, not sure, but whatever light shines down from above with his glitter, he brands Godzilla into the sea there at that point, and we're left to assume that Godzilla can't leave that place. So that's how it ends, and it really, again, like I said, it depends on how interested you are in watching Godzilla and Mothra battle it out for the majority of the movie, because most of the plot characterization get left behind after that begins. As for this Godzilla collection on Blu-ray, the Toho Godzilla collection, again, like in King Ghidorah, it's got a nice picture disc, but other than that, no special features besides a few trailers. You can watch it in the Japanese with the English subtitles, or you can watch it in the English mono, which I recommend the Japanese, obviously. Other than that, you don't get much besides the high def transfer. Looks good, but again, they reuse the same menu footage, and then the special features are just not there. So it's not bad. You get King Ghidorah and Mothra with it, so that's worth a check out, and it's on Blu-ray, so you can't do much better than that. Other than that, I'm signing off for Godzilla vs. Mothra. Not much else to say, but again, like I said, I'm giving away Gamera Ultimate Collection Volumes 1 and 2. All you gotta do is subscribe to the MailChimp email list, which I only send out emails every now and then, once a week or once every 2 weeks, depending on how much how much time I get to create the email. So sign up for that, and you'll be entered to win Gamera Ultimate Collection Volumes 1 and 2 on Blu-ray. Anything else? I will let you know. We probably will be ending that when KaiJune ends, but I haven't set a specific date yet. That'll be announced at a later time. So for KaiJune, this has been Godzilla vs. Mothra, and I will be checking out all the rest of the Toho Godzilla collections on Blu-ray this week, so stay tuned. Thanks a lot for watching.